Hola, bonjour, hello. Welcome to Shantu's Tarot. Hi everyone, welcome. This is my very first tarot deck review. I love this deck so much. It was a gift to myself during the holiday season, the end of last year. I purchased it in New York. It is called the Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot Deck by Hughes. I believe this is in the Art Nouveau style. I think it's absolutely beautiful. If you've seen any of my other videos, you'll recognize this style and this deck from my love readings. I think it's such a romantic and passionate deck, and it's the images are so delicate and lovely, and I think they're perfect for emotional or love readings. So here we go. I want to give you a heads up that there are 2 additional major arcana cards in this deck. The artist or the creator has decided to add 2 additional cards to the major arcana. And I guess I could read without them, but since it's been included and it's unique to this deck, I've been reading with them, but you can always just take them out if you don't feel comfortable. So I think the gold foil on this deck is lovely. And I also really love the card stock. I think the back of the cards is also lovely. It's a simple but I think elegant design. And that's the image that's used for the box. This deck does come with a manual. It's up to you whether or not you want to use it as a reference. These images are pretty similar to those on the Rider-Waite cards, but slightly different, and I just think they're so gorgeous. I mean, look at this. I mean, even if I didn't read tarot, I think I'd still use these cards as art, like maybe frame them and put them up around my home, because I just think they're so incredibly gorgeous. Particularly the cups cards, we'll get to those. But yeah, the Wheel of Fortune is different. I like this masked or the cloaked figure reminds me a bit of the Death card, but I just think they're lovely. And I love this gold detail. I just think it adds a little something extra. What I enjoy about the Hanged Man here is that it's very clear that this suspension, this hanging, is self-imposed, which I think is really an important detail. Look at the wings, right? Like, I could just look at this deck all day. Yeah, so I find this interesting. Again, the hooded figure, but now the hooded figure is exposed in the Death card. I think this is a very lovely interpretation of the devil. The Tower. What I like about the Tower here, I can't remember if this is true in the Rider-Waite deck, but I like how it looks like this person's falling into the ocean, so they're not falling to the ground. I think it's a little bit more optimistic. A star. She's not completely naked, but she is fairly exposed. What I think is interesting here is the central figure in the moon isn't the moon, it's this woman. So, you know, the moon is associated with yin energy, so I guess it makes sense, but I find it interesting that the moon is actually rather small on the moon card. It's not the primary image. However, the sun card, there is a very large sun, so. Judgment, I think that's a very pretty interpretation. The World. Again, that this woman takes center stage for the imagery rather than the actual world or the circle. The image is focused on this woman. Okay, so these are the two additional arcana I was telling you about, the Well and the Artist. You know, I'm still getting comfortable with these two particular cards because they, you know, I'm growing and improving as an intuitive reader. So I usually see this card having to do with emotions because of the Well. Creativity, emotions, and this is affiliated with the number 22. And then the Artist actually makes me think a lot of Aquarius, the star, someone who's very focused on their craft, who is likely an artist or somehow involved in the arts, and who's very exposed, and this is associated with the number 23. Now we're in the Swords. Love that gold glint. I think this is one of the most beautiful Three of Swords cards I've ever seen. And it manages to be beautiful even though the symbolism is, you know, kind of dark or challenging. Four of Swords. I find this interesting that this Five of Swords, he's not holding any swords. He's really lost in thought. So I think that's pretty cool. Yeah, I like this Nine of Swords card. And these, you know, nightmares, obsessive thoughts. I think it's cool the page is a feminine figure in this card, on this card. Queen of Swords looks a bit gentler than I think in the traditional Rider-Waite here. King of Swords has a bit of a scowl on his face. Ah, the Cups cards. I really do love the Cups cards. I just think they're so lovely. I think these are lotus flowers. So beautiful. Two of Cups. Makes me think a lot of Leo because of the lion. It's a 3. They remind me of angels a little bit. I think it's interesting that these children look almost like twins in the Six of Cups. I think that's interesting. They chose this figure's holding up a mask, and the cups seem to almost be guarded by this creature, monster, serpent-like thing. I'm not sure. Looks pretty smug in this picture, this figure. I really love this Ten of Cups with the baby, just a young, happy family, completely content. I love how she looks like almost like a mermaid here, the queen of the sea. And the wands. I really dig this interpretation. I just think it's so cool. I think similar in a lot of ways, the Two of Wands with the waiting, watching And this looks like a fairy, but it could be, I guess, an angel as well. Angel fairy in the Four of Wands. This is a softer interpretation, I think, of the Five of Wands. I think it's interesting in this one you see the back of the figure. I think in the Rider-Waite imagery you see the front of the figure. Queen of Wands looks so lovely here. A lot of Leo imagery. Again, Leo imagery. And then this, I think it's a salamander. And finally the Pentacles cards. I really like how this person is balancing. Not so much juggling like the image in the Rider-Waite. She's trying to do a lot of things at once, but she's trying to balance, which I think is pretty acrobatic and impressive. I like they use a woman in this image. Look at that. Five of Pentacles is still, you know, kind of a melancholy card, but it's still so beautiful. Like this floral pattern here. I love the grapes. I think this is a really gorgeous interpretation of the Nine of Pentacles. And this figure's kind of ambiguous as far as gender. Yeah, so that is the entire deck from start to finish. Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot by Matt Hughes. I highly recommend it. I think it was about $23. You can Google it. I don't believe it's available on Amazon. I'm not 100% sure. I got it in person. I picked it up in New York at a bookstore. So, yeah, I highly recommend this deck, and I hope you enjoyed that review and quick flip through. The card stock is amazing. The cards have a really great energy, and I think they're very useful and accurate in their readings. So thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the flip through and review, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon. Take care.